We are getting really close to Resident Evil 9 at this point. They just announced a release date in February over at Gamescom, along with some new footage. People are excited, myself included. The last few Resident Evil games, both the remakes and the newer games, have all been absolutely fantastic. Resident Evil 9 in particular is a little interesting in the marketing so far in that they've really pushed this first person versus third person. And to me, it's kind of interesting just in that you're getting a blend of the old Resident Evil and the new Resident Evil. So with that, I've been thinking about Resident Evil a lot, and I thought, hey, why not do a ranking? But let's do it a little bit different. I want to do this ranking as if you are a new Resident Evil fan. Maybe you saw the trailers for 9 and you want to get into this series. If you sat down and thought, I want to play through Resident Evil 1 through 8 and I want to play the best, most modern, current versions of them. For me, that's how I've played most of these games, is playing either the remakes or the ports of some of these older games. So yeah, I think that this version of this ranking might be a little contentious, but it makes sense to me in my head. It's also perfect timing because my very good buddy Brandon just recently played through all the Resident Evil games, and I thought, wow, this is perfect. I gotta ask him to be on this. So join us as we rank the current 1 through 8 Resident Evil games. Before we get started though, if you like this video, please hit me with a sub or a like or comment, whatever. It's a new channel here, trying to do some new things. So if you like it, really helps me out a lot. Without further ado, let's get into the ranking. All right, Brandon, it's time. We are going to rank these Resident Evil games. I think this one's going to be contentious, particularly on the way that I personally have decided to rank these. I specifically asked you, though, because you recently just played through all of these.
I did. Not like all canon, but all like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And music is playing on my Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were just like playing an intro or something there.
Oh, dude, yeah.
But, I
got the music cue, dude. The safe room music
with the soundboard. I was like triggered there. But as I was saying, yeah, I think people will have very strong opinions about everything in this series. I feel like that's not abnormal for a series of this size, but I don't fucking care. I feel how I feel about the game, and I decided that I don't give a fuck. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. And I do have some very strong opinions about some of the games that I know people will probably disagree with. But once again, I don't care.
Don't care. Dude, that's what you got to do.
We do not care.
We don't care. The best way to start a video in the most contentious way possible, because I know you feel strongly about this. Let's talk about Resident Evil Remake, the original game remade first for the GameCube,
right.
Very long time ago, but now it's of course available everywhere else. Brandon, you played this recently. It's part of your journey. What did you think?
Man, it was rough. I think the tank controls are very much a sign of the time, but it doesn't play well in my opinion. If you don't mind standing completely still, then maybe this is the game for you. But that paired with the aggravating camera angles, it was a necessity at the time, right? You don't want to be loading the full room. Like, it helps the game perform better. I'm positive of it, but we don't need that anymore. And every door animation. So for the time, I could see where this game was going. I could see the sauce that was this game at the time. But going back and playing it now, I'm not saying it doesn't hold up, because it is fun. But what I will say, as someone who didn't want to spend forever trying to figure out every room and every puzzle, it was a little bit of a struggle for me. And I even kind of watched some guides to it, and I still was kind of slogging through it, to be honest with you. I think it's a good game. I think people will be upset about my rating of this game specifically, because it's like, you know, where it all began. It's like the genesis of the series. It was fine, man. I did struggle quite a bit with this one. And it's a big difference from what we're going to be talking about next. And I think that also kind of illustrated how old the first one felt. Clearly, Resident Evil 2 was remade very recently. I understand that completely. But for someone who maybe wants to play 9 and wants to go back and do what I did, it's going to be very jarring starting off with this one. And that's how it was for me.
This is the last game of the like current numbered ones that we're talking about that is still in the classic Resident Evil format with the fixed camera angles. I mean, they're all still puzzle focused, but I feel like this one is in particular very puzzle focused. You mentioned the doors. The doors are like such a cool vibe. The first time you're like, whoa, going through the door. This is pretty cool, man. And then you're like, oh, wait, this is every time.
Every single door.
Every time these fucking doors.
And they're not fast. Like,
no.
I almost wanted to download a mod that would like maybe just speed up the door or something, because when you're walking through this house, especially when you have to go back and forth to the same place, because in these games there's lots of backtracking, right? There's lots of go find this, come back, go find this, come back, go back through this area you've already been through with a new key, do that. But the puzzles were cool. I think the puzzles were really interesting, and the house did feel very maze-like at a lot of points. If it was the year this game came out and I had no other game and I wasn't trying to play through all of them, this would be perfect, because there's there's interest, there's intrigue, it's very maze-like. There could be a lot of discovery in this game, but I just wasn't willing to put forth the discovery based upon how bad the game played, if that makes sense. Like I didn't feel like I was focused on figuring everything out about this game. I felt like I was focused on just surviving, because I had to stand still and struggle with the camera at every fucking angle. So
this is the one clearly that needs the remake treatment, the remake treatment. Once again, the treatment. With this one being the most dated, still in the old Resident Evil type of feel, and some people love that, and that's great if you grew up with that. I have only played the remake version of it, and I'm sure that it is, I mean, I've seen the PlayStation 1 version many times, and it's like, yeah, it's cool, it's way better than that, and it's amazing that how short of a time span there is between the original and remake, and how much the graphics improved, the pre-renders in the background, all super cool. This is the one for me personally I want to see remade the most. Right now the rumors are for Resident Evil 0 and Code Veronica are going to be next. So hopefully after those two, maybe then they'll feel like it's enough time that they can remake the remake again. So where are you ranking this, Brandon?
Oh boy, this is going to be rough. To play it today as someone who never played it originally, I'm either thinking A or B, truthfully.
Wow, you are more kind than me, because I was going to put this in a solid B camp, because you said the bones are there, and it's cool to go back and see what this series was like, even I guess a remake standpoint,
right?
For its time, but it needs a facelift, and so for me, it's B.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's reasonable. I think my thing is I'm kind of like putting it on a pedestal a little bit, because it's where it all began, and this is kind of where the ideas like flowed from. But I think B's fair.
Yeah,
I think B is very fair.
I think that's going to be the most contentious thing in this video, probably.
I agree.
Is this being B tier, but you know, it's our video, so Resident Evil's going in B tier, locked in.
We are not rage baiting.
Moving on, Resident Evil 2. This one, I mean, I guess it is also remake, but this is much more modernly remade. And man, this game is a completely different conversation.
Oh my God.
Entirely. This is one of the lucky few that I remember. I think this was at the last E3 for PlayStation that they announced this. And man, this is one of those announcements that the room just lit up with excitement. And of course, this is the introduction of Leon S. Kennedy. And what does the S stand for?
Sexy.
Sex. I was just going to say sex. I think Leon Sex Kennedy is where it's at.
True. Supple, maybe. I don't know.
Supple Kennedy, dude.
Sassy. He's very bitchy throughout this. This game absorbed me, truthfully. It was, I said it when we were talking about Resident Evil, but this game like kickstarted my entire journey throughout the thing, because at first it was kind of a slog playing through Resident Evil, as I was saying. But this game, I got lost in it, legitimately. And I know this game, even before the remake, is a lot of people's favorites, right?
Sure.
But the remake just engrossed me, like truly truly engrossed me. The police station was fantastic. I was a little bit concerned with Mr. X because, I don't know, I guess I'm a little bit of a bitch. But sure. once you kind of get his feels, it's not really that intimidating anymore.
Once you get to know him, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy.
He's a fantastic guy.
One hell of a guy. In fact, I had him over this weekend for a barbecue. Honestly, was a complete surprise for me. I knew the legacy of this game. I knew the feels around this game, but actually having played it, top tier for me. And I might be like alluding a little bit to my rating here, but the feels specifically in this one were immaculate, truly immaculate. And some of the decisions you have to make, the puzzles, the feels from the police station onward, like everything about this game was paced well. I ended up playing both playthroughs, and it was awesome playing it again as somebody else. My second playthrough was as Leon, and I don't know if the New Game Plus version like kicks you up a little bit in difficulty, or if Leon's skill set or bag makes it a little bit more difficult. But I feel like the enemy density in the second playthrough was even higher, which was cool because I had gotten a feel for the game. A lot of people say you have to play both playthroughs to get the full story, which is completely true. And I would encourage anybody who is playing this game to do both. It seems kind of weird at first. I didn't really get the idea. It kind of has like a Nier Automata type feel where I'm like, I've already rolled the credits. Why do I have to continue playing this? And it's not exactly the same, but it definitely is very, very worth going back and playing both.
There's so many things I love about this game. The introduction of Leon. I love that he's this rookie cop on his first. This is his first day.
Right. What a fucked first day.
I know, dude. Just unimaginable, terrible first day.
Right.
So you get introduced to him. You mentioned Claire, of course, and Ada as well.
Oh, dude, Ada. Dude, throughout this entire thing, the Leon-Ada sexual tension is peak throughout all of this.
Yeah.
The will they, won't they is very strong.
To me, Resident Evil 2 is easily S tier.
Easily
S tier. Obviously, as we go, we might like order these in their ranking of here, but this one, it's like there's no debate necessary. To put this in S tier in terms of the modern, most current numbered Resident Evil games. Resident Evil 2 must play. Next one, another, well, maybe not so much contentious when it comes to the remake, but Resident Evil 3. This came out like what, a year later after Resident Evil 2.
Crazy turnaround.
A different team doing this game, and you can tell. I played through this game once, and it was pretty short, if I remember correctly. Wasn't a big fan, but you played it more recently. So how did it feel going straight from peak S tier Resident Evil 2 to Resident Evil 3?
I want to give 3 a little bit of credit. I did enjoy my time with 3. I feel like it's a great game, but I don't think, to me, having played all of them, it's the best Resident Evil game, right? It's a great action game. And there's a couple points in the series that we're going to be talking about where they are more action-like. And not what I would consider the typical formula. And that isn't bad necessarily. I mean, I see what they were going with, but it just kind of hit the mark for the feels that I was kind of looking for in these type of games. It still had some of the endearing qualities that some of the other ones have. But I was very happy that this one was short. I think my playthrough was a little under 6 hours, if not right around 6 hours. And I was not going fast. I was not sprinting through everything. I felt like I kind of got the feel for stuff. I mean, I wasn't like scouring every inch of the map or anything, but I thought that my time with this was fine. I'm struggling a little bit to know where I want to put it based off of Resident Evil being at B. Nemesis was really interesting. Definitely not as good as Mr. X, because I feel like Mr. X was just creepy, whereas Nemesis was like, oh, this fucker again.
Yeah.
It's just the guy just never comes back. He's clearly not dying from anything.
Resident Evil 3, I haven't played the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, but to my understanding, there's some stuff cut out of the original into this remake. And this is the one it's probably, I don't want to say it's been the longest since I've played, but it has been a while. And I remember just being completely underwhelmed by it and just thinking like, oh, it was just okay. And for me, I want to put it in C.
I think C's fair. Based off the rest of the list, this is where I struggle, is I think it's a lot better than some of the other ones that are coming. And I guess I'm rating it in relation to other things. But for me, I would put it in B tier personally, just because I do think it is a great game, period. I don't think it's the best Resident Evil game. Or the traditional format of a Resident Evil game that I like. I think it has some of the DNA, but they kind of tried to go in a different way. I would accept C, though. I would.
Yeah. Let's just leave it in B for now. We can think about it as we put more things up on the board. Fair. There's a big one next, though, Brandon.
Ooh.
The original is so accessible as well.
Right.
And infinitely compared and contrast. We are talking specifically and ranking the remake, though, of Resident Evil 4. This is the newest game, most recently released at the time of recording this video, that came out. And also one that this is the remake of what many people considered their favorite Resident Evil game with Resident Evil 4. The original, of course, timeless. I remember playing it. I didn't play it on GameCube, but I played it when it came to the Wii because it had this cool Wii motion controllers support.
Cool, yeah.
Dude, it was cool. You got the point.
Was it cool? Was it cool? Okay.
It was pretty cool.
Okay.
At least I thought so.
It's not gimmicky.
No, well, I mean, it's just like a light gun. Like you can point at the screen. You're not like, well, maybe you are slash. I can't remember.
That was I guess the whole Wii was a gimmick. So
Resident Evil 4 remake, big shoes to fill. But you haven't played the original, so I'm very curious about your perspective jumping into this one.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy. I feel like we get a hit and a miss up until this point every time. But Resident Evil surprised me quite a bit in length and substance, if you know what I mean. But Leon back at it again and bitchier than ever.
Dude, he's always bringing the length and the substance.
Dude, he's bringing the length, the girth, the
suppleness.
All of it. Notable bitchiness, the backflip. Can we talk a minute about the backflip after the chainsaw ladies? Completely unnecessary, but also very necessary at the same time. A mere step back wouldn't encompass the Leon Kennedy way quite as well as an entire backflip.
There's the clip. Maybe I'll put it in the video. Hopefully I won't get copyright striked, where it's like him doing the backflip and then Creed starts playing. I feel like that's a full representation.
It's so good.
Yes. Can you take me higher?
But yeah, man, everything about this game is fantastic. You go from like the creepy small corridors of something like 2, and then you go into the action of 3, and then you go into 4, where it's just a different feel. Things are more open. You're more of in a village, but they just pour people at you. They pour these villagers with pitchforks and dogs, and the feel is so much different, but they just throw a lot at you at once. And I feel like that's really where this game shines, is in the setting and in the people in that setting. Like, you have the dudes with the cows on their heads, like with the hammers and everything. I love this game, truly. And I almost want to go back and play 4 because, like, one of the remakes of the original, maybe the GameCube version or something like that. But everything about this game was awesome. Being back as Leon was really amazing. And just the amount of chaos that you get thrown at you at once was really something that was different than 2, but scary in all the same ways, if that makes sense.
It's always, some people consider Resident Evil 4 like, well, particularly when you see what comes after, while it was so great, they learned the wrong lessons of what people want from Resident Evil by taking it so much more action focused in a lot of ways. But I think I agree with you completely that while it is a lot more action heavy, I still found this game to be very creepy in a lot of points. Yeah, Leon, he's had his extra. He's serving, definitely serving a lot of different things. If you say the C word on YouTube, you get demonetized. So
I know. I've been flirting because that's what I want to say, and I know I can't. That's absolutely. He is serving that very hard the entire time in this game, and I flirted with it, and that's all we're gonna say about the word. But he is serving that hard the entire game.
Resident Evil 4 too. We talked about the campiness earlier, and some of Leon's zingers in this, where he's like, "Where'd everybody go? Bingo!" I love it, dude.
It's so bad in the best way. It's so bad in the best way. It just makes me roll my eyes, but it's part of the charm, really.
Right. To me, this one's also pretty easy, Brandon. When we're rating remake, this goes S, right under Resident Evil 2.
It's got to go S.
Yeah.
It's got to
go S. And also, side note, this isn't part of the ranking, but the PSVR 2 VR mode for this game is incredible.
Really?
And I highly recommend, if you have a PSVR 2, or maybe you can find one that someone's selling since nobody freaking wants these things anymore. If you can get one for a decent price, it's worth it for that mode. Brandon, we're getting into...
Oh boy.
We're getting down into the valley.
Getting into the weeds. Into
the dark times.
The dark ages, so to speak.
Well, and what's funny is, so starting with Resident Evil 5, this game, I remember, I think you and I knew each other at this point.
Yeah.
Because we were in high school when Resident Evil 5 came out, and a lot of people were really hot on this game.
Yeah.
And I think it even reviewed pretty well at the time. And to be transparent with the audience, this is where I'm going to be leaning on you, Brandon, because I've played this game. I've played a decent amount of it. I've never beaten this game.
Okay.
So your word outweighs mine on this one.
Jeez. I didn't mean anything by the Dark Ages. I know that it's Resident Evil 5, but I promise I didn't mean it in that way. Once again, another difficult transition from 4 to 5. And at the beginning, I was really, really, really struggling with the changes. This game feels like you're walking around in mud the entire time. And I felt it very difficult at first to understand what the fuck they were doing. I think this game at the time was probably awesome. This was 360, right?
Yeah.
This was like 360 time. I can imagine this being an absolute riot playing with the boys during the Xbox Live times. But having played it in 2025 on PC by myself, I struggled quite a bit. Especially we're getting into like where it's no longer being remade. I feel like it's kind of been whiplash going through the stories and the games in 2025. So at first I was really, really sour on this. I thought it was going to be another fucking slog like Resident Evil. But what I'll say about this game by the end, I actually found it to be quite charming. To be completely honest with you, by the end, once I understood what they were going for, I was enjoying myself. It maybe took like 5 or 6 hours, but once I kind of got a feel for it, I thought it was fine. Another iteration in the series that I deem to not be a very good Resident Evil game, but is a fine game, period. There's other points in the series that we'll be talking about next that aren't good games or Resident Evil games.
So you're more positive on it than I thought, but where would you rank this? Because to me, I'm gonna say what I. Well, no. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna give. I'll give my thought after because it's less valid.
Sure.
Than you. So where do we put it?
I would absolutely put this at C tier.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say too, based on my time with the game. That I think when I was playing it most recently, I was playing co-op with Brad on PC, and I think that part of the problem was that I had just come off playing one of the really good Resident Evil games.
Right.
And I was like, there's something weird where maybe I'm wrong about this. Something about the controls really bothered me.
The controls are bad. Just the way they map things. I think it was of the time, right? It made sense to make the controls what they were then. But having to go back is very difficult on controller. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And the whole having to use your laser sight on controller as your only means of aiming is kind of annoying. So I found myself making a switch to mouse and keyboard because there's actually a reticle.
Oh, okay.
When you're on mouse and keyboard, which I found to be much more enjoyable. But the movement in this game is one of the most detrimental things to it. It truly feels like it's fighting you the entire fucking time you're playing it. Like, actually.
This is we're hitting the bottom.
Yeah,
rock bottom. And full transparency, again, I can feel a comment. It's like, why are you ranking these games if you haven't played them all? Because I have Brandon here. That's why.
That's right, baby.
That's why I asked him. And that's so Resident Evil 6,
oh god,
commonly known as the worst game in the series, to the point where I think this game was so bad, it almost killed the IP. And if they didn't get it right with the game after that, a few years later, I think it would have been donezo.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 6 also particularly long.
Too long. Way too long.
You played, what was it, like a month and a half ago you played this?
Yeah,
Longer?
so to be transparent, I'm still working through this. I finished Leon's playthrough. I finished Chris's playthrough. I am most of the way through Jake and Sherry's playthrough. So I'm most of the way through the game, but I have a very good understanding of this game, period. And I was wondering if it's possible to add something below D.
Oh, geez.
Is there an... No, you don't have to do it now. It's fine. I wish I could wipe this game out of existence. Remember how I was saying a lot of these games are good games, but they're bad Resident Evil games?
Mm-hmm.
This is a bad game and a bad Resident Evil game. I have so much disdain for this game. Everything about it is difficult, okay? The writing is awful. The writing is never, like, standout. It's campy in a bad way, and maybe I'm just being a little bit too harsh on it because I'm aggravated by the game, period. But there is no peace in this game, Dustin. There is no peace. Even playing co-op. Co-op has been the only saving grace I have for this game. That's the only bit of fun that I have going into this whatsoever. The persistent and nagging QuickTime events, I have no problem with QuickTime events. In fact, I kind of like QuickTime events in moderation, but the amount that is in this game and the times at which they require you to do it is so frustrating. Everything about this game to me is pure frustration. And the idea of this game is one overall narrative that is looped through by many characters, right? Mm-hmm. I get that idea, but it almost feels kind of lazy when I'm playing the same exact instance that I just played as a different character with that same character that I'm now playing the second campaign on. I feel like there should have been thought to, like, okay, so you just played as Chris in this town where there are these giants fighting you. So you don't want to play as Jake and Sherry, even though they were there. I get that. I understand, it as a part of the story, but I have to play the exact same thing again from a different perspective. But guess what? It isn't really different. It's this, like, I'm playing the same thing again. And even on the Leon playthrough, there is like a introduction tutorial or something. That's just the end of Leon's campaign, like literally bar for bar. The same cutscenes, you're doing the same thing. So, like, everything about this game, and I know I sound a little bit heated, I think I'm literally in the shit right now, so that's why I feel so strongly about this. If you can manage to muster together a friend to struggle through this game with you, you will have fun in that way. But everything about this game is aggravating to me, truthfully. Yeah, I really struggled, and some people love this game. Well, love. Some people were like trying to justify this game to me, but for me as a person, for me as Brandon, I have nothing but bad things to say about this game. Truthfully, I've not found a redeemable quality about this game. Aside from it looking a lot better than 5, because it's newer, I struggled with the controls, I struggle with the pacing, I struggle with the length. Everything about it is bad to me.
Yeah. Well, below T, easy. Easy to lock that in. But there's better times ahead.
Oh,
thankfully.
So much better.
Resident Evil 7, dude.
Oh my god.
This game, the story behind this game, I guess not story, but the lead up to this game was so interesting to me because I remember for when they were showing off PSVR for the first time, the original PSVR, Capcom had a demo called Kitchen, which people were like, what is this?
Yes.
And eventually led to the reveal of Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, which, dude, that initial E3 reveal trailer game was so good. I think it was said like it was demo out now, so it's like go check it out. But major shift going to first person in this game.
Yeah.
And a major shift overall, and just you have this insane, like each game, the scale gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, you're taking it down to the swamps.
That's right, down to the bayou.
Down to the bayou, in just this one location. Well, mostly one location.
Right.
And I absolutely love this game. To me, this is the scariest game in the series, and this is the one that made me such a big Resident Evil fan that I went back and played all of these other games.
You and I have a very similar story because Resident Evil 7 was my introduction to the series, and it holds a special place in my heart for that reason. But I don't want to be looking at it through rose-tinted glasses. I've recently played it and have played it many times since then. This game is quality through and through. It was a big risk, I feel like, going to first person, especially for the amount of people who love the series and how much of a change that could be for them. But I think it worked out so well. It gave you such a different perspective, literally, obviously. Just the kind of the feels, man. Dude, the swamps, the creepy, the nitty gritty, the disgustingness was brought so hard in this game in such an interesting way, in such a scary way.
I really like how the game has like kind of a classic video game vibe in that there's the bakers of the house,
right,
and each section of the game is dealing with one of the bakers,
right,
in very different ways,
very
some
different.
more disgusting than others. Of course, too, this game, without, I mean, no spoilers, but interesting twists and turns to the story as well that have huge payoffs.
Yeah.
That really bring it all together. And yeah, the change to first person was so drastic.
Right.
And probably a huge risk, and it paid off big time. For me, Resident Evil 7 lands, they're so, like, Resident Evil 2 and 7 are so different. When we're talking about remake, I would put it here.
Yeah, I really struggle. This is either my number one or number two. Mm-hmm. I really struggle with this. I think it's probably pretty safe to put in two, but I'm pleased with this. I'm pleased.
I feel like you could probably interchange these.
I agree.
I'm giving Resident Evil 2 the edge for Leon.
Sure.
I think I'm just such a Leon. He's my boy.
He is. He's all of our boys.
The final game on this list is Resident Evil Village. And man, this one's got some different qualities to it, some different characteristics.
Yeah.
With some of its characters. Of course, Lady D.
Oh,
kind of the standout
God bless.
part of this game. So Village, clearly this is it's a direct sequel to 7.
Yeah.
And in more, I mean, both in story and in the type of, first person game, but clearly they wanted to expand the scope where this has, I wouldn't call it open world by any means, but the sections are much larger and you're going across the titular village.
Hey.
This game titular, as I said, titular in other ways, with Lady D.
Of course.
But Brandon, Resident Evil Village, what do you think about this one?
I think this game is standout in so many ways. It has some points where it kind of sinks, though, for me. I feel like some of the sections of this game were kind of unevenly distributed. If it were me personally, I would love to kind of switch around some of the beats in this game, and I feel like it would have come out as a better product, some of the sections of the game. What I will say about this game, having played the ones I've played previous to this, it was so fucking cool and so much more meaningful knowing what I know about the games and Chris at the beginning of Village. Mm-hmm. Because the first time I played Village, I had no idea who the fuck Chris was. I was like, this is a guy who's in other Resident Evil games. So to go into it knowing what I know now made it so much more interesting for me. And I'm very grateful having played it again with the knowledge I have now. Yeah, man, this game, starting off with the castle, and this is kind of what I'm saying, the castle was so strong, and that's what's kind of hard for me about this game, is that I feel like the castle might be the best part of the game, and it was the first part.
Yeah.
That's where I struggle, and that's not necessarily, it is a little bit of a detractor, and I'm not, I know what people are going to say, it's because of Lady D, and it is, but it also isn't,
Yeah, the third act is definitely, I think it's the third act, and the more mechanical warehouse section.
Yeah, that was okay. I think the weakest part for me was the Fishman. I'm so bad with names. The Fishman section was fine. Going around to the windmills was cool, and I guess fighting him was cool, whatever. But it was hard following the castle. It really was. I feel like the doll section was really cool. The basement of the doll section was phenomenal.
The doll section, to me, I mentioned Resident Evil 7 being the scariest game overall, but the doll section was, I think, the scariest section of any Resident Evil game, kind of contained within that I was just like totally freaked out the whole time.
Right.
It's easy to rank this one, especially seeing everything out on the board, that this is A tier.
I was going to put it A. My heart wants to put it S tier, but it confidently should be A tier.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong. It's a respectable A tier. Nothing wrong with that.
No.
Resident Evil having 3 S tier games already,
that's a good run.
Incredible.
That's a good run.
So here's our list here. Resident Evil 2, 7, and 4 make an S. As we just mentioned, Village in A. Resident Evil and Resident Evil 3 in B. Resident Evil 5 in C. And then the below D tier, Resident Evil 6. So I don't know. Is it as contentious? I think the main contention is going to be Resident Evil Remake.
I agree.
Where that's at.
Yeah, I agree. And I know we're going to get some haters. It's like the Dark Souls 2 enjoyers that like love 6 and they won't shut the fuck up about it. They're going to be like, how could you put it below D?
Dude, is there actual Resident Evil 6 enjoyers that are like, actually...
I feel like there is, bro.
Wrong.
There always is the people that like, the first album's way better than the first album type of thing. But it don't matter. It's our list.
Don't matter.
It's our list, motherfuckers.
So that's it. That's our list. And yeah. So Brandon, thank you for joining me in this little thought experiment. Of course, you were streaming most of these over on your Twitch channel. So you can check out Brandon. I'll have a link down below if you want to follow Brandon on Twitch, where he streams video games, or check out the Handsome Phantom podcast. I'll link that below as well. That's my old podcast, but Brandon's still there rocking along with Ben and our friend Dave. So you can check out their show. And yeah, thanks everybody for watching this video. So let us know down below what you thought. If there's anything you think we misranked or, got right, whatever. Just your thoughts on Resident Evil. Maybe some thoughts about the new Resident Evil 9, since there's new gameplay out this week. Let us know down below. So thanks everybody, and goodbye.